The moment everything changed for Maribel Adeyemi was not loud. There was no accident, no tragedy, no dramatic phone call. It was a quiet afternoon, the kind of afternoon where time feels endless. She was sitting by the window of her small apartment, scrolling on her phone, watching other people live. People launching businesses, people getting married, people winning awards, people traveling, people becoming everything she once promised herself she would be. And then she looked at the clock. 3 hours had passed. 3 hours of her life gone, not stolen, not taken, given away, freely, silently, permanently. In that moment, a question hit her harder than any failure she had ever faced. If my life stays exactly like this, would I be proud of how I spent today? Her chest tightened. Because the honest answer was no. Maribel had dreams once, big ones. She used to believe she was meant for more than survival, more than waiting, more than excuses dressed up as patience. But somewhere along the road, she had learned a dangerous habit: sitting idle, telling herself she would start tomorrow, convincing herself that the right time would come, that motivation would magically appear, that someone would notice her potential and open a door. Days turned into months, months into years. And her dreams slowly became things she talked about in past tense. She wasn't lazy. She was tired. Tired of trying and feeling unseen. Tired of effort that didn't immediately pay off. Tired of hoping. So she rested. And rested. And rested. Until rest quietly turned into a lifestyle. That afternoon, as sunlight faded through the window, Maribel realized something terrifying. Time had never been waiting for her. Time had been moving. And she had been standing still. That night, she couldn't sleep. Every tick of the clock felt louder. Every second felt heavier. She thought about her younger self, the girl who believed hard work could change everything. She thought about how often she said, "I'll do it later," without asking if later was guaranteed. By morning, she made a simple decision. Not a dramatic vow. Not a motivational speech. Just a rule. I will never sit idle again. Not because she felt inspired, but because she felt afraid. Afraid of waking up 10 years later with the same regrets. She didn't know where to start, so she started small. Very small. She cleaned her room. Not because it would change her life, but because it was something she could control. She organized old notebooks. She deleted apps that swallowed hours without giving anything back. She wrote a list titled, "Things I've Been Avoiding." The list was longer than she expected. There was learning a new skill she kept postponing, applying for jobs she assumed she wouldn't get, waking up early instead of hiding in sleep, reading instead of scrolling, working even when motivation was absent. That day, she chose one thing from the list and did it badly. And that was the breakthrough, because she learned something most people never do. Progress doesn't begin with confidence. It begins with movement. The first week was uncomfortable. There were days she wanted to quit and return to her old routine. Sitting felt easier. Waiting felt safer. Doing nothing never exposed her to failure. But she remembered the clock. She remembered how fast hours disappear when you're not paying attention. So she kept moving. Some days, her work felt meaningless. Other days, it felt slow. Very slow. But she noticed something powerful. Even when results were invisible, her discipline was growing. She was becoming the kind of woman who showed up regardless of mood. Time started to feel different. Hours stopped slipping away unnoticed. They became tools, building blocks, opportunities. Months passed. Not magically, not perfectly, but steadily. She learned a new skill and practiced it when no one was watching. She faced rejection and kept going. She stopped waiting for permission to take her own life seriously. Hard work became her language. Time became her ally. People around her began to notice. They asked what changed. She smiled. Because the answer wasn't dramatic. I stopped sitting idle, but the real test came one evening when exhaustion hit her like a wall. She had worked all day, studied at night, and still felt behind. Doubt whispered, what if this effort leads nowhere? For a moment, she considered stopping. Resting for a week. Maybe longer. Then she asked herself the question that had started it all. If my life stays exactly like this, would I be proud of how I spent today? The answer, even with the exhaustion, was yes, because effort, even unfinished effort, builds dignity. Years earlier, Maribel believed success was about talent or luck or timing. Now she understood a deeper truth. Success is about respect for time. It is about refusing to waste the most valuable resource you will ever own. Time doesn't reward intentions. It rewards action. Slowly opportunities followed, not because the world suddenly became fair, but because she was ready when chances appeared. She spoke with confidence born from work, not hope. She carried herself differently, like someone who knew the cost of every hour. And here is what surprised her most. Hard work didn't just change her circumstances, it changed her identity. She was no longer someone waiting to begin. She was someone already in motion. Looking back, Maribel realized her old life wasn't ruined by failure. It was drained by idleness. Not dramatic mistakes. Just quiet inaction repeated daily. She wished someone had told her earlier that sitting idle is a decision. Waiting is a habit. And habits shape destiny. If you are listening to this story right now, let this moment matter. Time is listening. The hours ahead of you are neutral. They don't care about your excuses. They don't respond to your fear. They only respond to what you do with them. You don't need motivation to start. You need movement. Don't wait for clarity. Work creates clarity. Don't wait for confidence. Action creates confidence. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Time never offers perfection. Never sit idle again. Because one day, you will look back and realize that the smallest actions you took consistently were the ones that saved your future. And when that day comes, you won't thank luck. You will thank yourself for choosing effort over comfort, discipline over delay, and time well spent over time wasted, just like Maribel did.